Okay, so hello to all attendees on Zoom. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys do have some questions for Janine, please make sure you're pressing the Q&A button. So for those of you who are on Zoom right now, just go ahead and press the Q&A button, and you'll be able to leave a question for Janine, because we're going to be getting into the Q&A here very, very shortly. We're also streaming live here on YouTube as well too. So that okay, so let me just make sure I'm doing a bit of an edit here. For some reason this going to private video. Not too sure why it's doing that. So I'll just be one moment here, guys, just as I figure this thing out. It's public. Same. So we're just going to be one moment here, guys. Just so I get everything configured here. This looks like okay, I think that will do it. I'm just going to go onto our live page. Okay, there we go. We're ready to go now. All right, so again, hello everybody. Welcome to New Earth Teachings interviews. Janine is going to be with us here in just a few minutes. We're going to just go ahead and open up everything firstly with announcements. Let me go ahead and switch my screen here to this. There we go. So welcome everybody. So those of you who are watching on YouTube, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to give you guys the link so that you can go ahead and join us on Zoom here. So let me just go down to the chat. Okay. Just going to type in the Zoom link. Okay. So, and I'm going to go ahead and pin that to the, oops, see if I can pin that to that. Okay, well, I don't know if I can pin it, but anyways, guys, this is it. Ugh, gotta love YouTube. So we got the Zoom link there, guys. So you all have to do is just copy that Zoom link and then just put that in your browser. And then just go to Zoom. You'll be invited into the registration page. It's free registration. And you can drop in and you can ask Janine questions, okay? Just a reminder for everybody that make sure that your questions are semi-personal or general in nature. Okay, so we just want to make sure we're getting that together. No personal questions, please. And we're going to go ahead now and start off with some announcements. My apologies, I'm just getting everything ready to go. Make sure there's no bugs in the system before we start the interview. Okay, and we're going to firstly go ahead and start off with some announcements. So let me go ahead and make sure I got my webcam. Okay, my microphone is on. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let's go to properties. Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm not too sure if you guys could hear me before. I was just getting everything set up in the background. So hello everybody, welcome to this special New Earth interviews with Janine. Janine is going to be with us here in just a few minutes. So again, for those of you who want to join me on Zoom, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, I just put the direct link onto the top, into the YouTube chat. So all you have to do is just copy and paste that link into your browser. It's free registration, and you can join us here on Zoom if you want to ask Janine questions. Just making sure that your questions are semi-personal or general in nature, as we're not going to be taking any personal questions today. Okay, so just a reminder for that. And hello to everybody here on Zoom. It's good to see you all here. Thank you for being here. It's very, very special. It's great to have Janine once again a part of our interviews. We're going to be again having her on here in just a few minutes' time. First and foremost, we're just going to go ahead and start off with some announcements.
Source Energy enhanced products to repair and rejuvenate the body. From the power of light to crystals to bed kits, card decks, and more. View our free samples, tutorials, and testimonials on our website, etherx.co.
And of course, for those of you who are looking to get some products from Etherix, you can use the promo code here, which is HAPPY24, which is basically talking about 2024, Happy New Year, and getting 24% off of your order. Over here, you can see 3 of our most popular products, which is number 1, the Source flashlight. So again, the Source flashlight is extremely powerful. you have any particular type of injury on your arm, this is basically helping to release that injury, clear away and smooth out that injury, rejuvenate your arm, rejuvenate that area of your body within a matter of minutes. This has been getting some really, really great reviews. It's been very, very positive. Not to mention, we also have the Torus bed kit, I should point over here, Torus bed kit, which is also available. It has the most dense codes, dense transcendental etherics codes within it. It's a very powerful bed kit that you can purchase. And again, it works to heal the body, works to replenish your energy body as well too. And of course, we also have the 3 healing code cards, the body deck, the mind deck, and the energy deck, otherwise known as the etherics card decks. And that too can bring about great benefit to your healing. So again, check these out, plus many other products. That's on etherics.co. You can also check out the YouTube channel of Etherics, as I'll be doing a live stream, not this Sunday, but the Sunday after next with Etherics, and I'm going to be doing some giveaways as well too. We also have quite a bit of frequent promo codes that come up. So what you can do is just go to etherics.co, scroll down to the very bottom of the page where you see the footer, and you'll see a sign up form there. And you can add your name and email, and you'll be signed up to the newsletters to get updates, and updates also with new promo codes that are coming in all the time. So right now, at the time of this video, it is Happy 24 and ends January 7th, 2024. All right, let's go ahead and move on. This here is my partner Brienne's website. She does distance healing by donation. She does the tarot as well too. She's still learning, but she's doing really, really well. And she also does flying star feng shui. So she has, again, a wonderful website here where she's talking about, she gives you like a free introduction to flying star feng shui. She's very, very good at it. Actually, our whole house is feng shui as well too. She talks about the lineage to where she has been taught. Flying Star Feng Shui. She also has some videos online as well too. She does a Reiki and vibrational healing session. So I've been teaching her a lot about vibrational healing, and she does a really, really good job at this. She is also a certified level 3 Reiki practitioner. She does all healing sessions by donation. She also does crystal singing bowls and chakra alignments. So she's doing it all. She's got some big packages here all together, from distance healing, a 2024 feng shui report, mini feng shui report, full feng shui report, and half price tarot readings available now as well too. Again, you can also see the testimonials on her page. So again, this is trinityhomehealing.com. Go check it out if you want to get a healing. Brienne's schedule is pretty open, so I think she would be able to get you in quite quickly. So go ahead and check that out at trinityhomehealing.com. And of course, my private sessions are getting a little bit busy, but I still have some room for February. One-to-one private sessions, distance healing sessions, 3-question private email sessions, and of course the full body source healing sessions where I go very thoroughly into your body, physical body, energy body. I also do a genetic and nutritional scan on your body as well too, through the full body source healing sessions. Of course, we also have a standalone session, which is just nutrition and genetic scan sessions, scanning vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and genetic conditions within your body. That is now available at newearthteachings.com. Okay, so that wraps up all of the announcements. And again, one more thing is I'm also on Rumble as well too. Every Thursday, I have a YouTube channel. It's called, it's rumble.com/signpostslive. I was just there yesterday doing that, and I'm happy to see Janine is doing very well in Rumble as well too, alongside Jean-Claude, and of course all of their friends as well too. It's just a great thing to have Janine here once again with us. So speaking of Janine, I will go ahead and bring Janine on. And so I say, hello, Janine, welcome. Welcome to the interview again.
Hi, Brad. Hi, everybody.
So
can I add something about
sure, go for it.
You were
Yep.
showing people? So you sent me a bed set. I had
Yes.
it today. It was white in the background, but it had those symbols. So I'm not sure which set it was.
The Prana bed kit, yeah.
Yeah, and it was so relaxing, but I didn't get much time with it because my son stole it because he liked it so much. So it looks like I'm gonna have to get that. I like that really dark colored one with the.
I could send you a free one. Definitely.
Oh, you don't have to do that. I'd love to support your work. So I'm pretty excited once I saw that one on your website.
Oh, wow, great. Yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to send you another one. See, that's the thing. I have to kind of get people to kind of guard your etheric stuff. It's like, hey, can I see your flashlight? No, it's mine. Don't touch it. So that does happen. That does tend to happen. Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I think you sent me a picture not too long ago of your cat really enjoying it. as well.
enjoying it, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, again, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So again, guys, I want you to go to tarotbyjanine.com. Janine has some amazing content on her website. So Janine, let's talk about your website. How is your website going? What can people experience when they go into your website?
Well, I do a once a month, try to do it right around the beginning of the month, zodiac spread. And I know you've been getting into those zodiac spreads.
Oh,
So they're
yes.
a nice, really big look at things.
Yep.
And it's almost like all the viewers are getting a personal reading. Yeah, because there's usually something for everybody in there, not just a world event reading, really.
Mhm.
And then I try to do, and I can't say I every single month can get this done, but I try to do 2 a week world news. So sometimes I do more and sometimes I do a little less, but I try to keep it to around that. And just little quick chats. Now the quick chats have been getting thin lately, but I'm going to look into the new year, getting back into that because I had a lot going on here in the last year. Moves, and, best friends passing and family members passing. So I had a big busy year, but yeah, the website for the $4.99 American a month, I think it's well worth the content for sure.
Absolutely. So again, guys, go check out Janine's website. Again, it's tarotbyjanine.com. You'll see it here below. And so, guys, we're going to go ahead and go into your questions because I know that's what all of you are waiting for. So many of you asked, Brad, when do you get Janine back on? When do you get, oh, got to work around her schedule, right? So everything happens in good timing. So again, it's great that we're all here and now we can enjoy the questions that you guys have. So again, guys, if you want to post your questions, please make sure you're for those of you on Zoom, of course, I'm not going to be doing the questions on YouTube. For those of you who are on Zoom, just making sure that you're clicking on the Q&A button. Okay, it's a Q&A button that's on Zoom. Just make sure you click on that and you can type in your question altogether. Okay, so we do have a first question here from Mita. Mita says, good evening, Brad and Janine. May we please have a look at South Africa? For a founder BRICS nation, the poorest of the poor is having it very hard. Extremely high basic food prices, the fuel, the electricity going up, and they restarted load shedding on 2nd after none over Xmas period, Christmas period. Beginning of December, we still had 10 to 12 hours per day, no electricity nationwide every day. It is summer, 14 hours daylight, no heating needed, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of stuff. And I've been to South Africa, so I know a lot of the stuff of what they're going through. Plus the awakened level of our nation. Is that the problem? This is a group question, not just me. Rest can't watch, no electricity, sadly. Thank you very much. So we could basically just take a look at South Africa, see how things are going with them.
That's our first card, and that is a little depressive in a way, right? So looking at her cup is really exaggerated in this one. So it gives you a clue that there's this person might be looking at things and they're not looking very good right now. And see that 8 of Wands, a very swift changes. Okay, let's see what kind. Here's in the past. It's taken longer, of course, than anyone expected, all of these changes. But this card says the wait will be worth it. Okay, that's you become enlightened through, even though it's a difficult path. And we have had a very difficult path, and it sounds like South Africa in particular is having a very difficult path. But you become enlightened. Now, this card in the middle is what's going on right now and how it feels. So she described this exactly. It feels like things are just out of hand and can't possibly get any better. This card's what's actually happening in the spread. This is the Kachina knife. So this is the one you got to pay attention to here, and the outcome one. So this one says things are happening fast and lots of spiritual attention going there. So that's interesting. So not only are you having changes coming that are likely done maybe by Alliance White Hat members, but there's also a lot of spiritual energy going there to help out. Here's the near future. Now, this one's interesting. 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands is very unique. And this guy, the old-fashioned word for it is valor. And if I know that word correctly, and so correct me if you think it means something else, but valor is like defending your right to be unique. Okay, so defending your right to be unique and also your right to doing things the way you see fit. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's look around that. Queen, so we need two more clarifiers and the world. Okay, so it feels like even though it's a unique process that's going on and it feels really difficult, that 9 of Wands means it feels really hard. You're soon to be a lot freer than you feel right now. So I think the part of the Hanged Man in the background is all of the hardship you're going through is going to actually lead you to a more free nation. So even though it feels really hard right now, it's moving to a huge gateway where you move out of all those hardships into a whole new way of doing things. A lot less government overreach, a lot less medical overreach, because we know that's happening all over the world. This card, this guy defends their right to be sovereign, their right. Wands are sovereign and they're intuitive, they're spiritual. Okay, so you still may need some work. Like it won't just happen overnight magically, but it's headed to a whole new world. So stay absolutely. She's got really good boundaries. Come out of that Queen of Cups because she's a little depressed and just know your truth. She knows her truth. She has really good boundaries and she visualizes and intends and directs her energy mentally very clear. That's what you're going to need to do. Come out of being that Queen of Cups because she's a little bit lost in her sadness about how things are and start visualizing how you know they can be and they will be as you create them.
Wonderfully said as well too, and that's very important. We need to remember visualization. We need to remember intention, especially when we start doing it in a group collective consciousness as well too. The more people that are working alongside you, this is where I say to people, just go out, start talking to people, right? Because it's going to be a magnet. You are going to bring people to you, and the more that you're helping out with that, then more people will put those mutual intentions. South Africa is going to be going through some significant changes this year. Like I said, I was in South Africa back in 2019, and I was really looking at the whole city, and I said, okay, something is really going to happen here, because it looks like this is just the calm before the storm, and South Africa is going to be going through a lot of implosion and explosion. But again, as we go into 2024 and even more into 2025, things are definitely going to start turning around for South Africa. So again, thank you very much for your question. Let's go on to anonymous attendee. Anonymous attendee here has a question about what does the house market look like for Vancouver, BC in the coming months? Is the interest rate going to go up or down? I know, of course, the quote unquote liberals have always tried to promise. It's kind of funny how they were saying as well, too, that, oh, you know, we got all kinds of federal land and we'll start building houses there. How do you guys think that? So yeah, let's take a look at the housing market for Vancouver, BC. Is the interest rate going to go up or down?
Now, when they say federal land, do they mean crown land or what do they mean by that?
That's basically what I'm assuming they say. They basically have said, oh, we got the federal government has more land than any other entity in Canada. And so why don't we build some houses on top of that? So that again is just kind of their grasp. And so, okay, come buy houses from us because then we got you, right? So basically it is everything will be government property, right? So no one will have their own property really.
Yeah. I'm not buying that for 1 second.
No one really is.
That feels like a fear porn that they put out there.
It does. Yep.
To try to show you what these guys had planned. So that she's asking about the market and the interest rate. So I asked about the interest rate with the cards. I don't know, they're getting a little glary. I'll keep them back here a little. So see that ace? Okay, so I feel like you got at least another 5. This could be weeks, but it could also be months where it's going up, to be honest. Like interesting. They're gonna go up, and that feels like part of that slow takedown of the financial system the way we know it. Right, the old cabal banking system and like as things go up, of course it makes it very difficult, but it's for a very short time that it keeps going up, a short time, because this is a 5. It's not a major arcana. 5s are sort of almost, they look like they go backwards. They're almost like a retrograde card because they're setbacks. It's a setback. It'll seem like a setback, okay? But don't buy it yet, okay? Don't buy into it, okay? And then here, this is the 10 in the background and the Queen. Okay, it's a really good time right now to wait on buying anything, and or like, don't buy into there's fear, this thing that's being pushed right now, and with the rising interest, I feel like it's part of the movie in a way. So it's a good time to just hang on to what you have and don't go out there buying. So like, don't play the game with them right now. If you can possibly stay out of the market is kind of how I get that. She waits, visualizes her true life that she wants to create, but she doesn't make a move until it lands in her lap. Okay, so when that vision starts appearing in your life, that's when you make the move. Okay, and here's the near future. You got about 8 months. 8 more months before things are a lot different in that time. There's a lot has changed by then. Okay, and you'll see your financial markets a lot different. Everything looks a lot different. We might even have a new whole system by then. I would think we did. And this card says that's when you want to start getting into the market and looking at things. Things look a lot different by then. I'm going to pull 2 more clarifiers. We've got the 7, that's a strategy card, and the 3 of Swords. So it's a strategy to make it look dreary right now. And I think they're literally trying to out what these guys had planned, which is to make it impossible for anyone to buy a home, really. And any new people coming on, like millennials, how can they afford like millions of dollars for a little shack? Like, it doesn't make any sense. That's all looks like it's all like, it'll look dreary for a little time longer, but sometime in the year that really changes. And I feel like the system goes down with that 3 of Swords, and the whole thing's contrived to help us understand, first of all, who our real enemy is, what they've been doing, and to catch us up to speed with what they've been doing for years and years, maybe hundreds of years to us, maybe thousands of years to us.
Yeah, exactly. I've always got the feeling wait a bit longer for the
Yeah.
housing markets, because there is going to be a big shift that's taking
Yeah.
place. The funny thing is, I had kind of a symbolic experience Brianna and I both had when we woke up in the morning. We just saw this murder of crows just gathering around like the house here, and that's never happened. I said, okay, well, that's usually a significant vision of something going through a dramatic change. So
Yeah.
sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad, but that's letting you know, I think, that our neighborhood, basically in the neck of the woods in BC, is going to be going through some significant changes. A lot of things, a lot of rugs are going to be pulled over, and we basically have to kind of pull out all these old weeds and just start just starting to rebuild the garden, take out these old weeds. And like I said, these things just need to be exposed. And that's first and foremost. Once we get that, we're moving into something even better. So again, thank you, anonymous attendee, for your question. This one here is from Angela. Angela says, hi, Janine and Brad. I'm in the UK and have been hearing a lot that there will be a 2-week lockdown between January 7th and January 8th. Is there any truth to this rumor? Thank you very much.
Well, we're getting close to that then.
Very close. That's just 2 days away.
Yeah, 2 days away. Okay, so this is interesting there. That's a soft yes and truth to your question. Soft yes, maybe it's still movable on the day it closes down, but it looks like there's truth to that. Okay, so soft yes, and here let's look around a little more. This is a freedom card. So in the past, so going into the lockdown, what you need to remember is you've already been freed from the slave overlords, okay, in the background, but a lot of people don't see it yet. So we don't literally see it unless we're really looking carefully. It's already been taken down, but there's a lot of things playing out just to make sure, I think, so we never get in this position again, and that people actually experience it at a soul level, what really happened. Because if you just told them, okay, we cleaned up this big mess, everything's going to be good from now on, we just get right back into the same problem. Do you know what I mean? Humans need to experience it. Okay, so now we've got the 4. It definitely looks like it's something they're planning on doing, maybe not right on those days, but there's truth to the comment. Okay, and then this 4. Meanwhile, a lot's going to be going on. So while the lockdown happens, a lot could be going on. I also get, you could also see that it's shorter, maybe not in even 2 weeks. So that's interesting. Could be 4 days, 10 days, but it may not be 2 weeks. Okay, so we've got the 3, but we're really close to it. We're maybe weeks away here. and the Wheel of Fortune. So when it does happen, it just catches everybody by surprise. So when you know a date, you can be pretty sure if everyone's talking about the date, it won't be on that date. They're not going to do it on any of those dates they say. And the reason that is because they need it to be a surprise, because this is a war we're in, and it's a very psychological, spiritual information war. So it's not like you're going to know the dates ahead of time.
Exactly. All right, let's go to Alina's question. Alina has a question of, what do the cards say about the crisis situation in Cuba for the next 6 months? Are significant changes expected to occur at a government level there? So again, looking into Cuba, I think I also did a reading on Cuba not too long ago. They are definitely going through some shakeups. So again, Alina, thank you for your question.
Okay, so that's interesting. We got the 9 of Cups. So something really good already happened there. They're just waiting to let people in on it. So that card says this is a wish come true. So the desire for change has already happened on some level, but you're not seeing it yet with that 4 of Pentacles. I also get financially, there's been big changes there already. So they may have already switched over the financial situation there. We just don't know about it yet with those kind of cards. This is the past. Yeah. Moving out of troubled water. So even 6 weeks ago, a big shift happened. Oops, let's see there. A big shift happened that created the state of this wish coming true. So what they're saying in the question is, are things going to get better? They already have. It happened 6 weeks ago, but they're covering it up. So that would be in the middle of those cards. They're covering it up. Okay, this card can be deceptive. And there's a lot going on under this guy's cloak. He's very psychologically, he's a genius. So this is a chess game move. Whatever you're seeing there is not actually what's actually going on. So trust that it already happened. And you'll see a big switch all of a sudden, likely around the same time the whole rest of the world does a big switch with that card. That's a huge major arcana card. So when it does switch, it'll be fast and furious, and the whole world will have also taken a move towards showing us what really is the case. It's almost like it looks way worse, the world, than it actually is at this point. Usually it's the other way around. For years, it looked like things were fine. We didn't even know what was going on under our feet, in the dumbs under there, above our heads. Like, we didn't know what was going on in our governments. A lot of us, some of us did, some of us didn't. We didn't know what was going on in the medical systems. Now it's the other way around. I think things are getting cleared up and cleaned up. It's been a long time and lots of hard work to do, but I feel like we're going to get led in on this soon.
I was getting the exact same information with Cuba as well too. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Someone was asking me about Cuba. Is it horrible? Is it getting into a bad situation? I said, no, actually, it's it's starting to turn around. Now, they may not be showing it in the mainstream media, but they're certainly showing that there are some major improvements coming for Cuba. So again, some great double confirmation there. Awesome. Here's one from Debbie. Debbie asked the question, will Bitcoin be a good investment to look into in 2024? So again, a lot of people talking about Bitcoin or even XRP as well too. I know Bitcoin's definitely going through some changes, some overhauls. So how's that looking?
Okay, interesting. Lots of news coming out and lots of information that's clarifying. That's a clarifying card. Bitcoin is somehow connected to, so I think in the past it might have been created maybe even from deep state or
very dark,
bad guys kind of thing, but I think it's been taken over because this is my Trump in the White Hats and or Alliance card. So I feel like, and this card says it got moved out of troubled water. So it was up in the air if it was going to go forward, but now it is, because it's like it's been taken over. And it could experience some ups and downs where it makes it unclear. That is in the right now, and here's the near future. And then it's safely, and I know it's quite high now even, but and securely, just it's a long-term safe bet because it's been taken up by the new financial system somehow, or been embraced somehow. It's not being used on the dark web like it used to for trafficking, etc. Like, whereas a lot of people are saying, oh, it's bad, it's going to crash because of that. I feel like that's they saw it as a good thing, a way a person could have sovereign money, and they've worked on ways to create it to be a really good working, practical, this guy's really practical, careful, safe bet. So yes, it'll be going into our future.
Wonderful. And I was getting the exact same as well too. Bitcoin was, I feel, was also dark force enabled as well too. But like many other things, they're losing everything. I was also looking into Japan the other day as well too, and that is basically all counterforce. That's the amazing thing with that one. That's basically taking out deep underground military bases. That's basically cleaning out a lot of the riffraff that we find in Japan as well too. So yeah,
That's
again, we're doing
exactly
really,
what
really
I
well
got
here
around those.
with good commonality. Yeah,
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 I got
exactly. I
that
remember
same
seeing
thing,
your
yeah.
video about that. Fantastic. So here's another one from there's another Bitcoin-like question. This one's from Fabio. Will there be EBS? And I guess we've already talked about Bitcoin. So will there be an EBS in the next 6 months? So the emergency broadcast system. I've gotten the question quite a bit, but let's see where things go with the next 6 months.
So we've got something around the financial system, okay, being announced. So she's very direct and announces something. Swords, thoughts, and words. So she's going to announce something. So something gets announced or gets at least put out in the open about the financial system before any EBS. We've been waiting a really long time for it. We've got surrender in the middle. So we're going to have to go through. So the EBS will be at the start of it isn't going to be easy for people. So when it does finally click in, so I think it does finally click in, but when it does, it's going to be in a time when it'll feel a little tough. So the system somehow crashed, or people lose some money in the banks, or there's something going to be around the money system that looks a little tough. Okay, so there's hardship around it for a short time, and then of course the situation will get better and better with that card. It's a little bit it'll be a little bit unclear how long it'll go on for. We've got strength and an ace here. So the thing will happen, but it happens around an event. Let's say that's a little hard. That surrender card in the middle, it's not gonna so what we need to do is prepare ourselves mentally for being strong enough to be detached when we see the events that, and no, we never get to know exactly what they are. Even the cards won't tell us. Okay, so when the event does happen, that sort of starts the EBS. So I don't think it'll be the next, or it doesn't want to tell us if it's going to be the next 6 months. I feel like that's something it wants to be a surprise too. And there's reasons for that. I think spiritually, it needs to sneak up on all of us to be, to work, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that answered the question. I'm thinking it's even sooner than 6 months, but that could just be wishful thinking. But the cards aren't being clear about, is it 6 months, but there will be an EBS, and it looks like it comes at the beginning of a hardship, what appears to be a hardship for humanity.
Yeah, and I'm getting that as well too. I'm just pulling 4 cards, so I'm getting the 8 of Cups here, and I'm seeing the red. Like when you were pulling the 10 of Swords, the first thing that stuck out to me was the red, right? The red alert, critical condition, critical situation. I think when it gets to the point where just people can't have enough, it's too much. And then of course I'm also getting the Hangman, as you also pulled as well too. So we're getting the exact same thing here as well too.
Yeah.
So when we're noticing that there's thievery, right? When there's a lot of people being the crooks, right? Just everything's okay. We've had enough. And then bam, all of a sudden, some sort of announcement, something comes together. Perhaps it's EBS, perhaps it's something else that's basically going to say, okay, here we go. We're going to shut you guys down. And I've likened it to the idea of a chessboard, and like the dark force basically represents the king that is in the corner. And you have all these pieces surrounding the king. And they're saying, well, aren't you going to go and attack the king? No, let's wait for the king to do a really stupid move, and then we'll move in. And that's kind of what I feel with the American, the Canadian military as well too. They basically have all these other pieces pinned down, but they're just waiting for the king to make a very dumb move. And so go ahead and make a dumb move. And that's when they get it. And that's where I feel we see the judgment, right?
Yep.
The judgment card there. So again, very, very similar to as well from what I'm getting. So excellent. Let's go to another anonymous attendee. What do the cards say about the future of diversity, equity, and inclusion in education and government organizations? This is kind of a unique question. So what do the cards say about the future of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion in education and government organizations?
A lot of hidden agendas there. And I'm even getting the feeling with this card here, the Three of Wands, that a lot of it is pumped up and fake. So when you see, remember the Parliament buildings were all lit up, the Canadian Parliament buildings all lit up with the gay pride colors during what has now become Gay Pride Month. It used to be day and parade, then it was week, and then now it's month. Okay, I think the white hats in the alliance and or people that planned a lot of this, what we're seeing as the outing, I think, of all of these bad guys' plans. I feel like a part of this movie is showing us the worst side of that. So we're getting like outrageous things. Like, remember that guy in Canada with the dressed as a female with the huge breasts, and just offensive no matter what, if anyone dressed like that. If a female went to her class not wearing a bra with breasts that big, and people cannot wear bras, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying we don't do it because it's kind of offensive. Sorry, I'm really disgusted. I'm not going to do that. Okay, it's uncomfortable. Jiggling around.
Your message is getting clear.
Distract attention. That's absurd. Okay, so when that happened, that wasn't real, you guys. That was they planted that guy. Whoever, he's a white hat or something, or he works for them, or he just is doing like he's a digital soldier who knows. He can push the system. They're trying to show you how stupid it is. They're trying to show you. These guys had it all planned over the next 10 years to completely degrade us and take away masculine and feminine lines completely, and make it so none of us could, and regular folks, and I'm not saying you're not regular if you're not heterosexual. I'm not saying that. But they're making it like it's a majority who isn't, and that's just not the case. And they're belittling the people that aren't like that. Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I mean? So they're exaggerating a 1% or a small percentage of the population and making it's all that woke stuff. And it looks like it's all been a plan. Again, to show you how ludicrous it is. So they're trying to get people to wake up to, they've been subtly doing this over the years, okay, and that got stopped, and now the white hats are in charge, and or the alliance, and they're putting out these signals. These are comms and signals for people to notice, okay, that's too much. They're going too far. Whereas the bad guys would have done it over the next 10 years and they would have got away with it, because they were way more subtle. Remember, they're secretive and subtle, and nothing's been subtle or secretive in the last 3 or 4 years. That's because the white hats have been doing all the moves. This is a psyop war full of tricky moves, and you might not like it, but it's necessary when you got an enemy that deceitful.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, guys, it can't be rainbows and whiskers on kittens every single time. We basically have to get into the darkness, and it's going to be a lot of exposure. And when you look at the counter forces, again, people will call them the alliance, they're going to basically play dirty games at the same time the dark forces do, right? This is why I say I don't really call them the white hats, because there's times where their hat gets a little bit dirty.
You bet.
Right? Sometimes they can be gray hats, sometimes they
gray hats
go right into the black hats as well, too.
True.
But they do this because a lot of them are ex-Dark Force. A lot of them are ex-Secret Society, right? So this is exactly why they're playing that game. It's basically just like attracts like here, right? So important to remember that. So this one here is from Debbie. Debbie says, Janine, do you see the cards seeing anything regarding Earth events affecting Seattle this year? So anything in regards to how Seattle is doing, and any Earth events that Seattle may be going through this year in 2024.
Yeah, it seems like they really use Seattle for an example of wokeness. I feel sorry for people living in Seattle who aren't going on board with that. Like, it's got to be tough. Okay, so we've got the 3 of, so a water event, maybe, here a water event, and the 7 of Wands, and it could even be caused by rods of light and or, okay, I guess we better not say that on YouTube.
It's okay.
A weaponry of some kind that's kind of like a bolt of lightning, but not.
Yeah.
You guys know what I mean?
Lightning from God. Lightning
And
from
it's
God.
directed. Yeah. So something directed that's kind of intense and could cause water flooding. Okay. And in the past, a lot of things have been said about what could happen. And I feel like some of that's fear porn. So remember that. Okay. It looks like it will be actually staged, some of it. So you have to be careful what you're reading and hearing about it. So an event could happen that'll be made to look worse than it was, which has been happening a lot. And it's a lot of things could happen in the Justice Department right after that. So I feel like it could even be a time of rounding up and secret tribunal kind of roundups at that time when that's all happening. They're going to be doing some roundups, it looks like. So here we've got, yeah, it'll change everything. So we've been leading towards this for a really long time, and things will get a lot better, but not before, like I said, it gets kind of worse first.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. This one here is from Sandy. So Sandy, I'm going to basically speak in code a little bit in regards to this question. Looks like Mr. B. Clinton is in real trouble lately. Is he still on the Earth plane? So rather than saying your last part here, has he been dismissed from the Earth plane? I think that's probably the best way to say it. Is he still around, or is he dismissed?
That's the husband of the H.
The husband of the H. Yeah.
Got it.
Mr. B.
So he was held for a while, maybe even 2 years. This would be in the middle. We've got the 6. So he's been, yeah, rounded up 2 years held. Okay. Did a lot of speaking and like telling truth. So they got him to say a lot of things. Like he was very helpful with how much truth he told about how freedoms are stolen and how we were enslaved. So because of all his telling, a lot, we're way ahead, by the way, towards freedom. So that's interesting to note. Not saying he's any hero. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
And then he was,
Dismissed.
processed. Let's call it that. Probably 8 months ago, according to that. And it was widely at the time talked about in our community. So I bet we could go back to 8 or 10 months ago and look at what the community was saying, or there was some kind of calm about it at that time. Who knows, maybe even Raw News was talking about it, because I think they're sort of appointed. Yeah. Sometimes they tell truth and sometimes they don't, but they're part of the big movie for sure.
Yeah, I remember them talking about Mr. and Mrs. C about that as well.
Yeah.
So I believe right now he's probably just walking around as a doppelganger or an avatar in that.
Oh, yeah.
We can basically see that with Mr. Castro as well too, basically just a doppelganger. Mr. B, of course, obviously a doppelganger.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys are the real guys anymore, guys. Most of them have been dismissed from the Earth plane altogether.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Pauline, for your questions. Sorry, not Pauline, the previous person. This one is from Pauline. Pauline says, Janine, can you please have a look of what is happening in Ireland right now? So again, I've gotten quite a few of the Ireland questions in the past as well too. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at that one.
Okay, so things are getting really tense looking there. And this card's like lots of waking up. So they've been doing, see how that trumpeter is waking up the dead here? It feels like they really needed to wake up layers and layers of, lies and disinformation. I feel like it was even harder than a lot of places to wake up the Irish. Maybe they're too trusting, or maybe they're, just so brainwashed there. Right. Like, and I know lots of places are like that, but it's been really hard to wake them up, it looks like. So things are taking a long time. And so you're probably seeing things looking really bad there, because that's what they do. They push really hard to get those really people that are really like, okay, I'm not going to see that. They make them see it. Okay. So they've been patient and persevering. So I feel like the government in Ireland, like a lot of governments, are the capitulated word, okay, and they're being puppeted to do things, okay, to out themselves. So see that in the middle? That's who's really in charge in Ireland. The gray and white, let's hope more white than anything. Those guys. Okay. And yeah, and then it will, along with everywhere else, big celebrations, even in the street when things shift. But it's like everybody, we're going to have to wait for that, but it will be exciting when it happens. Here's around it. So here's what to do now. Walk away from, like things that really push your buttons, like don't take it personally when your so-called government is doing so in your face crazy stuff. Okay, walk away, find some nature, know that you're being like maybe they're trying to wake up those people that are still asleep. And if you're somebody who's watching videos like this, you're not obviously one of those. Okay, so it'll probably be hard. So try to not take it personally or to heart. Okay, because they need to do it. And it's not too much longer. And things are way better than they appear. And that's the thing you got to remember. Okay, remember that road trip I went on, you guys, if you've been watching me for a while. I don't know if Brad remembers that story I tell, but I still think it's happening where the signs get worse and worse, but the road got better and better. So pay attention to literal, what you know to be true in your heart, and not what they're saying out there. Okay, try to pay attention to that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I show on Rumble, the signposts, right? You guys got to watch the signs, knowing that actually where we are right now is a lot more of a better positioning than where a lot of people thought we would be, right? If we were basically looking at 2024, 5 years ago, oh my God, we'll probably be in internment camps. We'll probably be in FEMA camps right now. We'll probably be in all these shelters and all that stuff and have everything taken away. Here we are in 2024, guys, we're not there, right? So again, remember, a lot of things are actually getting better. You're just looking at this little picture on the screen here, and that's all you're looking at. You're going to think things. Well, take a moment, turn everything off, look around you 360 degrees. We are prevailing. Very important thing to remember.
You and I, Brad, we'd definitely be in some kind of camp if we would be still here.
We'd be in something. We'd probably be under some underground basement or installation or something like that. Yeah. So here's a bit of a change of pace from Daniel's question here. So Daniel asks, hello to both of you. Can you both look at the source of yoga? Was it brought to us by off-worlders, or was it created by us humans? Thank you. All right, thank you, Daniel.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'll let Janine take that first, and then I'll follow up.
I've actually never looked at this. This is going to be fun.
Oh, I have, but yeah, I'd like to see what you get.
Okay. So we've got 9 and 5. So I feel like some of it's good and was given, like came to us in a natural way and was naturally created, but some of it's been manipulated. So it would depend on what exact practice we're talking about. Okay, there's probably manipulated practices in the past. So I think it was sent in a dream to some people. So some of the original people. So depending on who sent it. So I feel like there's been several versions sent out there. So you need to really feel in your heart the version you're studying. Is that something that's feels right to you? Do you feel better doing it? Do you feel more in touch? You know what I mean? How are you feeling? And I feel like the more strict it is, and the more controlled, it might be the bad ones, by the way. Interesting. I'm not saying just be lackadaisical about your practice. I'm just saying if it's really, really, really doctrine oriented, that might be ones to watch out for, actually. Okay, because we know most doctrine and really controlled things in all kinds of religions and spiritual practices are actually deep state dark cult. Okay, so see that? That's the two of, so you have to personally check in with yourself to see how you feel. So this is going to be some homework for you. So some of it's really good and some of it's on the dark side, and you have to find out what is. Are you feeling loved, loving, more open by doing it? Or are you feeling, really repressed, getting stricter? Your practice makes you really shut down. Like you have to feel it, right? Feel it. And then see that magician here. So you got to think for yourself and, go try a few out if you really want to know for sure. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad. The practices.
That's pretty much what I've been getting as well too. So basically, yoga can be used to make you immortal, and yoga can be used to kill people at the same time. So it's kind of like you're looking at the different sides of the coins. You have a black side of the coin, you have a light side of the coin. So if you are working together with yoga in that sense for your own discipline to moving yourself into these higher advanced states, like I'm basically initiated into Kriya Yoga. So basically in that sense, it's actually very accurate from what Janine is sharing, because there really are two sides to every coin. So basically, what I've gotten in regards to the inception of yoga is that it basically was born in the astral realm. It's actually much more of an astral plane orientation. And of course, the astral plane has highs and it has lows. So if you go into the lower astral plane, you can basically get certain forms of yogic techniques that can harm people and that can actually harm you. If you're moving much more into the higher barometer of the astral plane, you're moving into much more of these enlightening states with yoga. So you have to look at it in the idea that it can actually be a great tool or it can be a sinister weapon. Right? So it's the same thing as I've also talked about pertaining to off-worlders, pertaining to anything of that nature. You have a barometer, right? You have the lower barometer beings that will be imposters. I mean, the Anunnaki basically represented the imposter aspects. They basically came from Nibiru. They came over here. They posed themselves as the god, and they basically needed gold to try and repair their atmosphere, because if you basically manipulate gold to a certain degree, it turns into a type of monoatomic element that repairs the atmosphere. And that's what really they were looking for, but they had to pose and do something very, very devious. So yoga, again, has that same kind of barometer. It just depends on the barometer that you are on, right? Whether you're seeing demons or angels, whether you're seeing Anunnaki or Elohim, you're looking at a barometer. So where are you on the barometer? It's not really about them. It's about where you are. Where are you? Am I on the dark side of the barometer, or am I at the light side of the barometer? So when it comes to yoga, when it comes to a lot of the nature that really has made us what we are, it's just all about where you're looking at the barometer through yourself. So that's what I've got pertaining to yoga as well too. So very good, Daniel. Thank you for that question. That was a very unique one. Let's go to Anna now. So Anna says, Janine, what is the update with the Revenue Canada Agency? When can I stop filing taxes and stop paying them? I'm on a low income pension and have to pay every year. Very frustrating. I know we pretty much all do. I'm afraid that if I don't file, they will retain my CPP. So where we stand on update on CRA.
Okay, so before I answer that, I'll just say I'm not a financial advisor.
Yeah, both you
I'm
and I
just
are.
reading the cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Brad's not a financial
No,
advisor.
no, not by any means. No, thank you.
But I'm going to read the health of the CRA. In other words, are they going forward into our future? Are they going to be manipulated? Are they still of the demonic? Because we know, of course, they would have been originated from that whole gangster banking sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but how long do we have to tolerate them? We'll try to see that too. Okay, so here we've got the 10 of Pentacles. And okay, this is interesting right away. So they're working on changing it so it's for the people. So it is an organization that looks like it'll go forward, but it'll be changing, evolving to be for the people. Okay, here's in the past. For a while, it was a lot of its policies appeared to be the same, but on a deep level, it was sort of a lot of things were put on hold in it. And a lot of people will mention that. Like even in 2019, 2020, a lot of people felt like they tried a phone for days, couldn't get through. Like I feel like on a deep level, they're changing everything there. So for a while, it would just appear like everything was normal. They still have these automatic rollouts and letters they roll out and stuff, but a lot of people were seeing it was very ineffective, let's just say. Like a lot of things were actually during the pandemic, but it was also, it seemed like it was not really functioning, okay? But it was just surfacely functioning, and that's true. That's what that card looks like. This is in the now, so it's being taken down or apart. That doesn't mean they still got their minions doing stuff, but it's being dismantled and recreated. These two cards say recreated. Mm-hmm. Okay, for the good of humans. Okay, because we will still have forms of taxes. Okay, but it's just going to be way different and more fair.
Mhm.
much more fair. And I've
Definitely.
talked about that on other platforms, and at length I've talked about that. So we don't have time to go into that right now. But here's the near future: much more sovereign. So you're going to be much more. Your money's going to be much more sovereign. When you pay taxes, it'll literally be on products, it looks like, right? So you pay it at the point of purchasing, and depending on what it is you're purchasing, and you have a lot more sovereignty. So in other words, they're not going to overlord and like they overstepped for years on people. Okay, so it'll be a lot more fair, more sovereign, and everybody will be able to thrive, depending on, how much they want to thrive, because a lot of that depends on you and your personal spiritual work, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It won't be a system that controls like it did, but I feel like you won't really see that change till fall, because this card's my October card, next fall.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
in the meantime, you might have to play the game a little.
Yeah. Fortunately, we got to still play the game, guys. But the whole idea, like I said, and I've gotten similar things as well too. I call this year the year of overhaul, and everything really is being overhauled. Stones are being turned over in that way. So, yeah, of course, we have to kind of bear the brunt a little bit more. But like I said, see what this does to you and see how you can overcome it from within. Right? It's all about the inward experience of yourself, and see how well you're progressing through that way of what you see in the world and how you can correct it through yourself. So thank you for your question. Let's go to Anna. Anna has a question here. Hello, Brad and Janine. Will 2024 be the year to disclose medical repressed inventions and cures? And if so, which ones? I don't know if we can answer that to the cards, but I am especially concerned for the people who took the injections. Okay. So again, guys, what I would suggest, etherics. Okay. You start working with this, guys. This is something you should be using. Okay. Looks like a flashlight, but it's what we call the source flashlight. And a lot of people have actually been doing very, very strong states of recovery and rejuvenation just in this flashlight. Janine, I'll have to send you one of these as well too.
Yeah.
And that's been really, really beneficial. Like I work with etheric technology, and you work with etheric technology, that's something that's a step in the right direction and helps you. I'm not making any medical claims, but certainly it's helped a lot of people. Our testimonials show that. But Janine, what did we get from the cards for that?
So we've got disappointment. So a lot of people are disappointed. There's even been recent disappointments when there was promises of, the med beds are coming out at this date and this date. Again, watch dates, because things, and I've continually got that kind of technology, that they've coined med beds or whatever. That doesn't come, it might be even towards the end of 2024, maybe, is the first sort of inkling I get around it, or maybe even into it could be longer. Yeah. Okay. So, but there is a lot already emotionally you can work with. So understanding your emotional body and how a lot of things are triggered by emotion. So that could even go to the idea that, so say you did, or family members that you love got talked into, or for whatever reason took the, those shots. Okay, so I feel like how you emotionally feel about that. So taking away guilt and shame, taking away and coming to self-love with it. And then add things like look out there. There's a lot of people with things that are helping, including what Brad just showed you there. If there's testimonies that works, and I would love to try one of those myself.
I'll get you. I'll get you.
Yeah,
I'll send you and a couple other people.
He got talked into that. Okay, so see that ace there? Okay, so the ace in the background is, so the things are available, but it's going to be like rolling out over the next 3 years. So a lot of this stuff gets rolled out over the next 3 years. And I'm not saying you still can't heal and work on, because I find every single thing, once I understand it's emotionally based, for me anyway, I go to different healers, and with that understanding I get the energy shifted. So I feel like I'm already in a state of like there's healers everywhere and they're really good, like all kinds of them. You just have to ask your friends, have they been to anybody? I wouldn't just go in, back in the day, you'd go in the phone book to look for people. Of course, nowadays it would be online. But I wouldn't just take somebody's, just because they got a great website. Ask people and speak to trusted people who've had experiences, and read some of those experiences, and go looking, and even ask the universe to send you the right healer. So you don't have to wait a year, 2 or 3 for a med bed to roll out. You could actually be utilizing energy shifters already. And people with tools like what Brad's got,
Yeah.
it's already there. It's doable. You could call it to you.
Yeah, I mean, there
You
are
don't have to
some
put it in your way.
there are some people that are basically taking like reverse engineered Tesla technology, and I'm not talking about the cars. I'm talking about Nikola Tesla, like Scalar, for example, right? People will start working with Scalar. The bum news about that is that it's usually a few $1,000s to pay for a Scalar tool in that way. Does it work? Tremendously, right? Because Scalar is life force energy, it's prana, it's chi, right? And what you're doing is you're basically working with a control device based on Nikola Tesla technology that's helping you to heal. But again, not everybody can afford that. So will we see something start to downgrade, maybe basically having a much lesser price? I'd say in a few years. In a few years, definitely. I've seen some people who have shown me some really amazing technology, like Brad here is a tachyon chamber. Oh, cool. All right, Brad, here's my med bed. Well, it's just a pod that spins around, doesn't really do anything. So again, I've had some people come to me with certain forms of inventions. I've looked into them. Some are good and promising. Some kind of need to go back to the drawing board. But yes, there's a lot of technology out there that is not of the status quo. And it is a little bit pricey right now, but hopefully in the next few years, maybe we'll see some things coming together. But this is what I do with Etherics, is I try to make everything affordable. Right,
Yep.
because this is, again, for example, a custom-made flashlight. Like I said, Janine has also tried the Prana bed kit. Now, of course, it's the Torus bed kit. And I tried to make it for the common person. And it really does work. So I've always said that the Torus bed kit that's available right now is the closest thing to a med bed that you're going to get publicly. So this is where I say it's good for you guys to try it out for yourself. But there are going to be some really amazing inventions to come from others that I think will be much more in the affordable range in the years ahead. So again, thank you again for that question. Let's go on to anonymous attendee. Speaking of Tesla, are EV cars such as Tesla going to thrive in the future and take over the gasoline cars? Will the gasoline cars be eliminated from the public eye? Are we going to see more Tesla or EV cars thriving in the future?
Okay, something's going to change about them.
Mhm.
Okay, so the way they sit right now, I feel like there's something that needs to change about them. There's something that will hold up the movement that's going right now, and something different will happen. I feel like we go in a different direction because this card takes us in a better direction. So the technology of those are going to improve. There's something blocking, and something will block that, and there's something new coming that'll move us in a direction that's even better than that. Okay, so it'll be improved is what I get. And the new thing, will change everything. These are huge major arcana cards. It'll change everything, and it'll come after, so they'll reveal it after big events that cause lockdowns, that cause reveals to happen, and possibly something like an EBS, or at least a time of revealing. Okay, and see that the Wheel of Fortune. Now everything changes, and they can bring out this something they already know about. So I feel like it might even be new technology we don't even know about that changes. So I feel like there's that's a stagnant thing, that those cars, I don't think they're up to snuff. There's way better stuff coming, and they already know about it. It'll be stronger. It'll last a much longer time. So there's way better things coming.
Yeah, that's what I basically would call like the prototype rollouts. What I've been getting as well too is that the Tesla, not just the Tesla, but a lot of EVs are basically going to be majorly improving their design. Their design is actually going to be a lot more earth friendly. So electric vehicles really are here to stay, but they're going to be much more improved. They're not going to be radiating so much EMF and all that. They're actually going to be a lot more contained. They're actually probably going to start bringing out hydrogen cars here pretty soon as well too. So hydrogen will probably be the next step. 0 point energy, maybe down the road, maybe 2030s, 2040s for that. But yeah, there's a lot of things changing. There's actually something you can also ask the cars as well too, Janine, because I've been getting this one for a while. When I've ever looked at 5G, I'm seeing that things are being overhauled with 5G. And there's another source that I found on YouTube who basically is confirming what I've been saying and saying, yeah, well, basically 5G operated at a 50 hertz bandwidth. And what they're doing now, they were trying to roll out as quickly as possible a substitute to transform 50 hertz 5G towers into 432 hertz calibrations, and they've been trying to roll it out as quickly as they can. And there's already been quite a bit of 5G towers that have already been converted from a 50 hertz system to a 432 hertz system. So 432 hertz is the same frequency as our sunlight. They're harmless. And what I've constantly been getting from the cards, especially over the past maybe 18 months, is that no, 5G is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's actually starting to roll out. It's getting better. It's turning into the frequency of the sun. So I'm wondering what the cards might say on your end for that.
I pulled the truth and integrity card when you said that.
Great. Great.
And what's really interesting is years ago, before I knew anything and everyone was talking really fear-based stuff about 5G towers, I went out on a limb because the cards were clear. This thing's going to turn into a good thing, not a bad thing. And I've been sticking to it ever since. Like every time I look, everybody's always freaking out about it on the channel, whatever.
I've got some slack of that too as well, because I was getting the same kind of info.
It's going to be good. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And I feel like it's already started to turn around. So like I said, they were trying to do a rush of trying to get it out because they were trying to weaponize 5G. And basically they've been able to, a lot of that stuff is actually off-world help. And so we'll start working with these circuits and put these into the towers. They're 432 hertz. They're going to be the frequency of the sun. They're actually going to benefit your planet. They're not going to harm you, because they've been trying to keep humanity down to a 50 hertz level, very low and base, and it's the lower dimension. And now they're boosting up to the same frequency as the sun. And that is what we can almost look at as a planetary advancement right there, with the assistance of help of good technology. So great. So again, good question, anonymous attendee, about your EV. So yeah, things are looking up there. Let's go to Anna, and this is at 11:11. Good timing. Hi, Janine. It seems that the economy of Germany is being weakened on purpose. Is it instigated by our own government or by outside forces? What's the outlook ahead? Well, I don't think there's really a difference between outside forces and government, but we can take a look.
Say it again.
So it seems that the economy of Germany is being weakened on purpose. And is this instigated by our own government, or is it by the outside forces? What's the outlook ahead for this?
It's readying them, like everybody, for the change. So they're going to take down. I personally, I think that government was dealt with a long time ago, by the way. But yeah, so it's readying something for a really big change. So it's absolutely for the better, and change is coming there, like everywhere, for the better. So I don't know, did that answer the question?
I think so. And if it's caused by the government or an outside force?
So it's caused by a force that's in the background and hidden, but for the good of people and moving things in a better way for humanity. So that sounds like for the good, and definitely not the current government.
Good, there we go. All right, hope that answers your question. Let's go here to Ute. Ute asks, will we find out how many of the C jabs were bad and dangerous batches, and how many of them are no longer any danger to our health? If the truth comes out, will that be this year? Okay, thank you, Ute.
So they want to know.
Just to know if the C jabs, the certain jabs that were taken, was there a bad batch? And if that bad batch is still around, and if we're going to hear the truth about it this year.
Right. Yep. So currently what's going out there? Because there's actually people foolish enough to still be involving themselves in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to wonder, what the heck? But anyway, okay.
Just got to pray for those people. That's all.
I digress. Okay. So here we've got the Two of Cups. Yeah. So that is like being loving and patient and kind. Thank you, Brad, for reminding me. And then here we've got, yeah, I can be kind of a bullock sometimes.
Well, I can too, so I know.
Okay, so here we've got the 8. So no, I think it was in the background changed. I think they made deals with these companies. Don't forget, Trump went around and made a whole bunch of appointments and long meetings with all these companies that rolled out that situation, right? Remember? Okay, so I think they made deals, and they made deals to stop and basically cease and desist putting out the bad ones, but some were left, I think, so we'd know what they had planned. Again, we got this 5D chess going on, right? Okay, so right now in the current, whatever's being put out there is maybe temporary, sets you back, but doesn't have long-term benefits to the derogatory. So I feel like the real lethal batches are already dispersed. And
Great.
we're seeing the results of that. I mean, me in my personal life even watched at least 3 people like in the last year and a half go on that from that, I think.
Yeah, it is starting to fade away now because again, there's been big plans to try and get the bad batches out of there altogether. And a lot of people that basically get injected basically have saline injections. They're basically placebos. Most of them are placebos. So that's the good news. It's happening. So again, thank you for that question. Let's go to Maria Kaisa here. So I'm going to kind of modify your question a bit, Maria. Okay, so how is awakening and defeating the cabal going on in, I would say, Western Europe? How's Western Europe doing pertaining to the dismissal of the cartels that are taking place? How is the situation now? Again, guys, I have to speak in code, right? We're on YouTube.
And around what area again?
Just Western Europe. So I'd say Sweden, Finland, Ireland, etc. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are, so the woo, this is a woo card. So this is the intuitive and magical thinking people. Okay, the woo is, so the best work is being done by woo communities growing there. So communities going over to truthers and or more naturopathy understandings of medicine. So even if it's not outward, I feel like a lot of people intuitively know a lot more, maybe than they're even admitting, right? So on an intuitive level, I feel like it's actually improving. Okay, because it was very indoctrined by the overlords in the past. So that's the past. Here's in the now, and very quickly moving because of all the things that are being shown to people. So on a lot of levels, they're being, there's all these psyops going on that I feel like are putting the message somewhere in there to these even really hard, what we've been calling normies, okay? But it's planting the seed that they can't trust the officialdom, let's call it. Okay, and these people on some level in their intuition, they know. So it's been planted in there. So even if they're not talking about it yet, they got that feeling that's, yeah. So I think it's working really well. And they're doing it in a way that's balanced. So these people don't just get totally smacked in the face with it and have to deal with those. Like that would be too much, ripping the Band-Aid off, which a lot of us, we have that saying, we think it would work. No, I don't think it would. It would actually be so shocking that it would probably send these guys backwards. This way that it's been done feels like it's actually been working well.
Exactly. Yeah, very good. And so that's my feeling too, is with the Eastern world, I'd say Western Europe. There's a lot of changes taking place. I did a big zodiac spread on the Eastern world yesterday, and I'd say they're even a lot more further ahead than the West is right now. West is still trying to catch up. East is up here. West is trying to catch up. It's like the tortoise and the hare, so to speak. So Europe, Asia, right, Eastern side of the world is actually doing very well in moving themselves into a greater state of accomplishment past all of this old rhetoric and old status quo. So let's go to Tawa. Tawa says, good morning, Brad and Janine. Could you please pull some cards for New Zealand to see where we're at for 2024? Thank you, Tawa, for your question.
Again, a lot of really clear truths coming out. So we got moving out of troubled water, really clear truths. There could be a particular woman, a powerful woman really outed. Okay, so that'll really help things, like move things faster. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune in the background. So things were flipped. So their government was flipped, if that makes any sense. You guys know what I mean by that, right? So it went from that dark entity government to a different one that's in the background running things. Okay, but not ready to be exactly out in the open about that. Like everywhere, they're not quite ready to show you that where they're taken down. Okay, but very soon to be. So within the year, like everybody, and vaguely in the next 4 months, I'd say, but could even be sooner. I think that whole thing, like we see all of that. We finally see what we've been knowing for a long time.
Yeah, I was also getting the feeling that New Zealand was also trying to be used as a smart island. that they were basically trying to do kind of like to New Zealand what they were trying to do with Maui. Basically
Yep.
trying, because they've been saying that they've been getting like a lot of chemtrails there. They've been getting a lot of clouds, like very little sunshine as well too. I said there was an attempt for that. I actually brought in Adronis for that, and he says, well, there was an attempt to bring a smart island to New Zealand. It's not going to succeed. It's going to fail. But again, it's just another one of those eye-opening situations that need to be brought out, lighting a fire under people. But that was certainly one of their intentions, was trying to make a smart island out of New Zealand. Yeah. They were trying to do that for Australia, and I think they got downgraded. Oh, let's go to New Zealand instead. Right. So basically that I think is going to fall into the mud as well too.
Yeah. Can
Okay.
I just butt in here for just a sec?
Go for it.
Ashley's gonna need the room here soon, so I might have to
Yeah,
wrap
we're just
up.
going to be ending with our last two questions.
Okay,
here.
okay, good.
We're gonna be
Okay.
holding up. So we'll probably do another 10 to 15 minutes and then we'll be ready to go. So this one here is from Nikki. Nikki says, hi, Brad and Janine. Is the Canadian miniseries Impact a calm? I'm not too sure what a calm is. The story shows about a meteor shower, which eventually sends the moon on a collision course with Earth. Well, the first thing that comes to mind here is Fearborn, right? So is it a con? I think she's trying to say the Canadian miniseries Impact.
Maybe she means a signal.
Oh, a communication. Okay.
A calm. Yeah,
Yeah.
a signal. Yep, makes
Okay.
sense. Yep. So we've got 8. So absolutely. So see that 8, this is like lots of signals in that one. So watch it really carefully. In fact, it has a really big, it's communicating something through it. Absolutely. About what's going on in our world today. Let's see where it stems from good. So people that are for the good. So I don't know who originally made the film, but it's being used for good now. Let's say that. Yeah, and in the middle, so it may show a dark version of, so it could be showing a potential that was going to happen and maybe doesn't actually happen. So that's interesting. I haven't watched it yet, so maybe she could comment further on if that makes sense to her.
Okay.
And it's showing that we're in a war and some of the moves. That's where the signaling is coming from.
Okay, great. So we're going to end on this last question here from Heather. Heather says, can you look into Canada, please? I'm really seeing the mental change in the poked people. Trudeau is pushing through hard UN, WEF, WHO, etc. agendas. Canada, a beautiful land of plenty, has been stripped of all of that, and getting regulated into restriction, cost of living and housing is beyond survival. My mantra is all lies exposed for the world to see. Will this truly happen?
Yep, I'm getting it. Okay, so we've got this land has already been switched over, and there's so many good things coming for Canadians. You won't be able to believe it. We've got surrender. So right now we're at it's like the 11th hour where it looks the ugliest, which it definitely, as she mentioned, does. Okay, that's when the changes come. So you can expect when it looks the ugliest, all of a sudden it does a flip. A lot of what you're seeing is manipulated and being shown like as part of the psyop, which I know a lot of people get grumpy about. Like they don't like it. They think it's deceptive to do it that way. But like I said, when you're dealing with something as powerful and deceptive as what has been taken down thousands of years of, and even other dimensional energies overlording the dominions that are doing the governing that's been deep and dark. Do you know what I mean? Like that, when you're dealing with that, I think you got to fight a little dirty, unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, I would even say by April, there's really good news. And now I could just say what I think good news for April would be, but yeah, and it's related to our government. And everyone will be like celebrating.
Yep.
So
I'm getting the
imagine
same
what
thing.
that might be.
Yeah. So like I said, even the first quarter of 2024 is going to bring some very good positive changes. So like I said, guys, we've had to endure this for a while, but like I said, it's very much like what we've talked about earlier, is looking to see what these things are doing to you. If you're just looking at the small screen, you're missing the bigger picture of everything that's happening around you. Turn off the small screen. Remember your 360-degree view. So Janine, thank you so much for being on the interview today. I really appreciate it. Again, it's good to talk to you again. And so again, Janine, just tell people where they can reach you. How can they get a hold of you?
So tarotbyjanine.com it would be, you could get on the website and join my community.
Mhm.
Or if you want to watch and you can't afford to get on the community, or you just don't believe in doing that, and that's okay. I have a lot of videos on Rumble. So if you go to Rumble and go to Beyond Mystic, okay, you got to go to Beyond Mystic Rumble channel, and I have a Tuesday quick pick, free every Tuesday. I have 3 shows with Jean-Claude a week there that are all comprehensive, looking at the news, and we're a good team because he does all the investigating that you guys know I don't do. I just look at the cards on things he comes up with, and it's absolutely riveting what we've been getting on there. So pretty excited about all those shows.
Great. Well, again, Janine, thank you very much for being on the program. Thanks to Ashley as well, too, for letting her borrow your space so you could be on here today. And thanks to her as well, too. Maybe I'll send you guys some flashlights as well, too. Just send me your addresses and I'll send you guys some free flashlights. And you can try
I
them.
will. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Janine. We'll talk again soon. Thank you for being on. And thank you again, everybody, for being a part of the broadcast today. We had a really great time. And just a reminder, I'm just going to give you guys some quick end announcements here. So a few people on YouTube have just been asking about, Brad, where do I get the flashlights? Okay, so you can get the flashlights here. Okay, so again, it's you can also use a promo code happy24 for 24% off your order. Like I said, that's called the Source flashlights, right? You'll find that on the homepage of etherics.co, right? That's the URL, the website right there. The Torus bed kits, as I was talking about to Janine, that this is the closest thing to a med bed that is publicly available, not to mention very affordable as well, too. That is the Torus bed kit. That is available now. All of these are available right now. And of course, the card decks that I've been selling for a few years is still available, right? The healing code cards, the etherics card decks, the body deck, the mind deck, and the energy deck. Okay, so you can find it all on etherics.co. Remember your promo code, right? Happy24, 24% off your order. Ends January 7th. And again, just go to the homepage, scroll down till you get to the footer. You'll see a little sign up form there. Leave your email. That way you'll get free updates and information on new promo codes as they come in, as I bring in promo codes quite frequently for Etherics. So again, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining the program today. Thank you so much for being here for the interview. Again, it was great to talk to Janine once again. It's been a few months, and we're going to definitely have her on again very soon. Hope you are all doing well. Blessings to you all. Have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you next week. Om Shanti, 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 Namaskar, and may it be well with you all. Take care.